Susan Boyles will have a presentation on parents as teachers in recognition of their 30th anniversary. Dr. Bowles. I saw where the governor released some PAT money today. That's good. I was like, oh, am I right or wrong? Yeah, he released it, $1 million. Don't quote me on the amount, but it was $1 million.
He's paying for a new
Thank you.
record keeping program, so it's gonna cost $1 million. It's different, a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Looks like we got some PAT trouble members.
You did a little coaching.
I kinda took the crowd away, didn't I? So-
Don't take it personal.
For the PAT.
Nope, they changed the
Anyway,
cookies.
this is the 30th anniversary of PAT nationally and of Rolla. Actually, it was there was 1 year prior to, it started in 2014 for, there was I think 2 or 3 schools in St. Louis that did pilot programs, and then Rolla, when they made it, started in, and Susan Bartlett was the first teacher, and then I think, and I've gotten the information from newsletters, and it said, which were typed, and they said that after, at the end of the year, they had 40 families. So, and the next year they doubled it, and on this there's a kind of a brief outline of the history and things that happened, but they doubled it and they added things. At the most, I think at one point there were 13 educators in the program. And then the state, I said the one thing that's been constant with parents as teachers is that there was constant changes. And so the state cut funding numerous times, if you look through the timeline there. And Rolla's very fortunate that the board and Rolla Public Schools has seen the need to continue the services and to fund that. That's been really important. When I meet with other educators and directors around the state, they often have, some of them have lost the program completely, or they have one educator who's a full-time teacher in the day and then goes on visits at night. And so I think it says a lot to all of you and those that came before you that you have continued funding parents as teachers. I'd like to introduce, I have 4 of our educators here tonight, and when they stand up, I'd like for them to say how long they've been in with parents as teachers.
Well,
This
we
is my second.
won't be able to hear them unless they come down, so why don't you come down?
Come on down.
Oh, come on down.
Because you have
Comfort in
to,
numbers, anyway.
you have to step to the microphone or you can detach it if you want. Because the microphone is for those at home that are watching or may watch throughout the month.
Okay. I'm Sonia Bush, and I've been a parent educator for 9 years.
Debbie Priestmeyer, parent educator for 9 years.
Andrea Farrar, and going on 11 years.
Joni Stevens, this is my 15th year in the program.
Holy cow.
Excellent.
And Mary Beth Pogue is also an educator, and I think 17 years she's been an educator. And she's actually doing home visits tonight, so she couldn't be here. She already had those planned, so. Okay. After 30 years of parents as teachers, the vision has never changed. It's that all children will learn, grow, and develop to realize their full potential. Parents teacher provides information, support, encouragement. Parents need to help their children develop optimally during the crucial early years of life. In 2014, last year, we began, they mandated the implementation of a new online curriculum, which is developmental and family oriented. And with that, there's 4 components. The personal visits, which is what most people think of as parents as teachers. The group connections, when we have the large group meetings where they could be developmentally centered or just activities that parents share with their children. Screening, which is we've really worked on hard this year, and then resource as a resource network for our families. The first component, the personal visit, Debbie Priestmeyer is going to give a personal experience.
I was going to share about a typical day in the life of a parent educator, and I chose yesterday. I had 3 personal visits, so home visits. All of them were at the home, although sometimes we do meet in our office. The first visit I had in the morning was a mom that's fostering a sibling group of 4 foster children, one of whom was in Head Start, so wasn't there. One of them is in kindergarten or first grade, so was not there. The child that attends the early childhood special ed preschool was home because it was a Wednesday. And he was placed in school there because I did a screening with him earlier in the year, and he qualified for further evaluation. And when he got to do all of the evaluation, he qualified for services for half days at the special ed preschool, and then they have a 15-month-old. So very, very high risk situation for all of those kids, and a very high stress situation for the mom. She has also an 8-year-old daughter at home. The second visit I had was with a young family. Just the mom was home, and it was her first child. You wouldn't necessarily consider it a high risk. She's not a single mom. They have a reasonable income. But the child does have a language delay, and he just did turn 2. And we've been working all year on language enrichment for the child, encouraging the mom to read every day and things like that, which she wasn't doing before I started visiting. And then the third visit was in the late afternoon, and it was with a working couple who called PAT late in the year, so I didn't even start visiting them until March. And they called because they had had a second child. So they had a 3-year-old and now now a 3-month-old. And they were having some sibling issues and having difficulty managing 2, and the older sibling was kind of acting out, and they just kind of needed a little bit of support. And so I've been happy to see them 3 times before the school year ended. And I have done screenings on all of my families this year except babies who are under 6 months old. We wait until they turn 6 months old. So I've referred a couple to First Steps and to the special ed preschool.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. The next component is group connections. We had 4 group connections this year. Messy Art, Moving, Grooving, and Learning Music and Movement at Old McDonald's Farm. And Messy Art, these are some pictures from that. Messy Art involves, we usually have that in September, and it's out in the parking lot here. And we set up different activities that are messy. And so the parents can hose them off before they leave. And it's a lot of fun, though, and they enjoy that, both parents and kids. I think the parents enjoy getting messy and not at their home. So there's some more. The next one was Moving, Grooving, and Learning. And Tracy Phoenix, physical therapist, put on an evening, and she had activities around the gym at Wyman. And that was an evening activity. The first one was a Saturday activity. And this was very well attended as well. She had developmental things, and she gave a few instructions, but mostly it was just experiencing the different things. She had a big parachute, as you can see in that one, and then the kids, there was all kinds of things. They could go around to the stations or just run around and just stay on one that they liked, and it was also very well attended, and we're definitely going to do that one again. We had Music and Movement, which Debbie led, and that's always a favorite. We did that one last year, and the parents, you can see there's different ones where they bring out instruments. There's ones where they do scarves and rhythm things, and the kids love to sing and move. There you can see they were marching, I think, in that one. We got a future drummer, I think, there for the band. I don't know. Old McDonald Had a Farm. We had that last week on Saturday. That was out. That was in collaboration with the Young Riders 4-H Club. And they bring their animals, and they're out at the fairgrounds. And then we have a little station where they can plant plants, and the kids love it. They have the sheep, and they had pigs, and I think they had everything in that picture there, actually. They also had some that aren't in that picture. They had goats and kittens and all kinds of things, roosters and stuff. So it was a real big success. We had there was over 90 children there, but that's deceiving because that's only ones that are registered as as our students, because it's an online. So that doesn't include the 2 or 3 or sometimes 6 in the family they brought with them. So we had 90 students of ours, or children, and then I think 76 or 67 different families entered. And then we had about 5 that aren't PAT families, but some of them signed up, and then some of them just came with friends and things. So it was a big success. There you can see some of our, some of them like the stick horses better than the live thing. So that was whatever they liked. There's a big bunny that he was a very tolerant bunny. We also do playtime at the center every Monday and Thursday from 10 to 11 from like the second week of September through the last week of April, anytime that school's in session. Monday and Thursday we have that, and that's been very well attended and a real popular thing. People will come when they can, and then you've got some regulars that come every week, and the center pulls out all their things, and the kids really, and parents enjoy that. It's a good networking thing for parents. They sit and by the end of the year, the kids are greeting each other, the parents are greeting each other when they walk in, and that's it's a good thing. Show some pictures from that. It's amazing that some of the babies parents were bringing them in, and they were walking and running by the last, it's amazing how much they grow during that time. Screening is our next component, and Sonia Bush today is 33 months, right? Is that right? I did a video, a little one, of Sonia conducting an ASQ, which next year we're going to the ASQ 3, which is the newest one. So here it is.
Okay, we're going to leave it on the floor, and I want you to kick the ball over to the bookcase. Kick it. Good job, Sophia. Go get it for me, please. Good job.
She was adorable. Sonia too, but
We've always thought Sonia was adorable.
there's the mother.
Good job. Good job, Sophia. Now, Sophia, come here. I have something else for you to do for me. See this ball? Look here, Sophia. Look here. I want you to jump up. Look here, Sophia. Jump up and get the ball. Can you do that? Get it. Jump. Get it. Jump. Jump.
Both feet off the floor.
High five.
Is that an A+ on that one?
I passed you both feet off.
Very good. Wait, Sophia, will you please put it back in my box?
Yes.
Good girl. Come back over here. Okay, Sophia, I'm going to have you do this. Watch me. Pretend like I'm a bird standing on one foot. Good. Can you stand on the other foot? Yay! Good job.
Got Sonia with her.
Will you throw it to me, please?
He has to throw
Throw it
overhand.
in. Watch
Yeah,
me.
she's throwing underhand.
Throw it. Oh, now you throw it back to me. Throw it to me. Yay! Good job. Yay!
So then Sonia goes back and talks to the mother, so I wanted to show you this part.
Finally,
So.
the last part on gross motor. Does your child walk upstairs using only one foot on each stair? She may hold onto this railing or wall. So when you see her going upstairs, one foot on each stair. As far as I know, we don't have stairs.
Not happy the attention's on her anymore.
I think it's still both feet. Okay. Okay. She did stand on one foot for 1 second very well, and she threw the ball overhand by raising her arm over her shoulder.
So part of the ASQ is having the children demonstrate different activities, and they get points if they can do it, and points if they, or don't get points if they don't, or they get partial if they do it sometimes. And then like you also ask, if it's a younger one, like an infant, you would ask the parents, like she had to ask, does she go up the steps one at a time, or does she do 2? And the mother said, no, we don't really have steps. She doesn't do that, but I'll work on it now. So, so those are both components. So we did a lot of screenings this year, lots of screenings. There it is. I wrote it down in here, but. On your, The Resource Network, some of the groups that we worked with this year, we worked with the Health Department and signed into an agreement with them that they will recommend families to us, and we'll recommend families to them. First Steps, we made several referrals to them. Pathways, Prevention Consultants, Head Start, Early Childhood Special Education. And this year, we did recommend several after screenings to Early Childhood Special Education, and they shared with me that every one of the children we had recommended to be screened, that we screened, recommended for testing, did require services in Early Childhood Special Education. So they said that they felt like we were, the educators were very accurate in the children's needs. So we also, the Rolla Chamber of Commerce did a fundraiser and with the books store for us for getting books. And we also did a fundraiser at Panera this year. So I guess at this time, I'd just like to thank you for your support for the past 30 years as we look forward to the future and continue to grow the program. Now that the bond issue passed, we are looking for great things and working with the preschool as we work with them, early childhood.
So one of the things we talked about briefly and just share here in front of everybody is parents as teachers will be an important part of in 2017 when we start, when we expand our early childhood programs in each of the elementary schools. You all will be a big part of helping us recruit and encourage parents to get their kids.
And I do see that, because those parents that are interested and realize their children, they want them to continue learning, and they'll say to us, oh, what's it, when can I send them to preschool? Are there only 2? Are there any that I, so that's that is an important.
Great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.